All right, in today's video, I want to share some of the different drawing tools that exist when you create a drawing. I've actually already created a two-dimensional drawing here in Inventor. And if we come up to the Create panel, we can see there's a lot of tools. So far, we have mostly just done a two-point rectangle, but there are inside this drop-down multiple different shapes that we can make. There's also the arc tool and the circle tool, with which both have several options in them as well. So my goal is to go ahead and show you most of the tools in these three drop downs. So the two-point rectangle is simple enough. You drop one corner and you then click and do the next corner. You can define your height and your width. We've used that before. The three-point rectangle works a little differently in that I can click a point and I actually set three of the corners. And so this allows me to make rectangles that might be at some kind of angle other than the normal vertical and horizontal. Another one that can be really useful is the two-point center rectangle, where instead of starting at a corner, I actually start at a center point. So if I were to anchor it to this corner here, you'd see that that is the center of my rectangle. I can still define the height and width as normal. And I can also do a center point that is defined by 3 points, so I can make it go off at some angle, like the last one, like that. And so those are our different rectangle options. There's also several slots that you can play with on your own. Polygon tool is the last one I want to actually look at. On Polygon tool, you can choose how many different sides of an object you want to make. So I can make a triangle by putting 3 into this box, and then we will make a triangle. These all start at the center, which honestly is sometimes annoying, but that's the limitations that we have, so we just have to kind of work with that. I can do a 5-sided pentagon like this, and so on and so forth. So whatever shape you feel like you want to do, or however many sided object you want to do, that's what we can do with that. Okay, so circle, so all that's pretty straightforward. You probably could have figured that on your own. The circle has some other interesting things in there. And the first one, again, you probably could figure out on your own pretty easily. You just put the center point down and you drag out and you type in whatever diameter you want, say 1 inch. There is another circle that's kind of interesting. This is the tangent circle. This kind of lets you put it inside an object really easily. A tangent circle will create a circle that is tangent to 3 different lines. And so I would actually have to have somewhere around it lines that I'd use as reference points, like the 3 lines of this triangle. So if I click on this line, and this line, it creates a circle that touches those 3 lines. And we can see that again on one of these other shapes. I can do that. And if I pick any 3 lines, it should create a circle that's right in the center of that shape. So that's the tangent circle. Sometimes useful when you want to put a circle inside lines, or you want to build a construction around the object, or build some construction lines kind of showing where you want the circle to go, and then you can fit it inside that shape. Lastly, we have the arc tool. We have 3 basic ways of creating an arc. The 3-point arc, you just kind of decide that you want it to start at one particular place, go to another particular place, and then you define the radius of that arc between them. So I can put in a 0.5 radius here and get an arc between those 2 lines right there. And I wouldn't have to anchor them to anything. Can do that right here like this as well. Let me make it a 1 inch. And there you have it. Then there's also the tangent arc, which for that one we're going to need a line. Actually, see if I can attach it to one of these shapes. So a tangent line is going to try to make it continue on whatever line it attaches to. So in this case, at the very start of this line right here, I attached to this dot. And so the start of that line is going to be parallel with this horizontal here as it comes off. And then curve from there. Show that on another shape. Maybe. Yeah, we'll draw a diagonal line and do it again. And so then I can take this tangent arc and it will continue on from what I already have. And we can kind of make a shape like this. All right, so that's the tangent arc. And the last arc is the center point arc. It will create a center point and you can kind of sweep out the shape you want. Kind of useful if you want to make has other uses, but it is useful if you want to make Pac-Man here. And there you go, and there's our center point arc. All right, so that concludes this video on some of the other drawing tools.